Hello and welcome to the latest episode of the Low Budget Review Show. I am your host, Eric Smith, and today I am talking about Queen of Teeth by Hailey Piper. Look at that beautiful, beautiful cover. This particular edition is from Strange House Books. It's brand new. As of the time of this recording, the paperback is not out yet. By the time I post this on YouTube, it should be, or at least it'll be just days away. But I went ahead and ordered this beautiful hardcover copy. Look at the back of that thing. Lovely. Just fantastic. It's got some illustrations inside. Let's see. Interior design, Don Noble. Interior design, does that mean he did the illustrations? I don't know. Well, anyway. And this came from Rooster Republic Press. This is where I got this. And I think it's sold out, the hardcover copy. Anyway, what is this about, you're asking? Well, Yolanda Yaya Bentoncourt is a chimera, which in this world means somebody who suffered from the 00 virus, which is something that happened, and you had one twin absorbing the other twin in utero, and so now this person that's born has two different sets of DNA. But anyway, she wakes up one morning after a one-night stand and finds that she has vagina dentata. And it does not stop there. Things keep changing down there, and I guess that's kind of the nutshell. We'll get into it. You know, I'm going to talk about what's going on. So, right off the bat, this is sort of an alternate real world. It takes place in Newark, New Jersey. But we have the police force just has a ton of tanks. And there's this company, Alpha Beta Pharmaceuticals, that may or may not be responsible for the 00 virus being released in the first place. But so then you had these chimeras being born, and Alpha Beta Pharmaceuticals went to court, and now they own half the DNA of these people that are chimeras. And so Yolanda Bentoncourt, has mandatory monthly checkups. She has to go to an ABP. I always have trouble when I was reading. My brain always stumbled over ABP. But she has to go monthly to these ABP, her local ABP facility for these checkups, because half of her essentially is owned by this pharmaceutical company. So yeah, it's kind of our world, but different. So Yaya, we meet her. Again, she's waking up in someone else's bed, someone she picked up the night before, and she discovers that she's got vagina dentata that wasn't there before. So she cuts out on the woman that she's with, and she actually goes to not the emergency room, a healthcare facility, and is able to get in and see a doctor. And the doctor's like, "You got teeth down there, lady," which doesn't really help her. And while she's in the waiting room, it's a fertility clinic, I guess, because some guy hits on her. And she's like, "You really think a fertility clinic is the place to be hitting on women, dude?" So she goes on her way, and then she ends up skipping her mandatory appointment with ABP, and then some people in hazmat suits come busting in her apartment because there's some shit going down, and people want Yaya. And the vagina dentata is just the beginning. She's changing. Her body's changing more and more. It's getting out of her control, and craziness ensues. And I suppose I'll get into a little bit more as I talk about this, but I don't want to give things away. So let's get into the analysis, whatever, the review part, whatever you want to call it. All right, well, right off the bat, Hailey Piper writes a great story here. It is, and it's layered. Now, on its surface, it's body horror, it's creature feature, and it's a bit of a love story. Well, it is a love story. It's a love story, absolutely. But it's also about identity and ownership. Our main character, Yaya, half of her is owned by a company because of this 00 virus, because she's a chimera. These people can control her and what she does. And essentially, when she starts going through these changes, which may or may not have been caused by ABP, in the previous month, she got a shot because they're always doing tests and they're always giving her shots. Well, she got a shot that may be the cause of what's going on with her whole body horror issue. So yes, themes of identity, themes of loneliness, themes of who owns what. And, Congress went along and said, yeah, ABP, you can own half of these, not half of these people, half of people, half of them, whatever. You know what I'm saying. They own half Yaya's DNA and half of the DNA of every other chimera out there. Pardon me, a little parched. So, yeah, there's some deep themes in here. Hailey Piper couches them all in this, as I said, body horror, creature feature. Fantastic story. I really like the characters. Yaya is a broken person, which makes for an interesting character. She's absolutely not a perfect person. She's lonely. She never gets attached to anybody. This one night stand that she's on at the very beginning of the book is just one of a string of one night stands. She doesn't care if she remembers anyone's name. She doesn't care about getting a phone number or giving out her phone number. She's just living she goes to work. She goes to her mandatory ABP appointments. She goes out and gets drunk. She'll go home and sleep with somebody. And I'm not judging in any way. This is her life. I'm just saying it's not a life that makes her happy. She thinks she's satisfied with it, but she's not happy. She's not a happy person, which is why I say she's broken. If she enjoyed this, if this was the existence she wanted, then I wouldn't say she's broken. She can live her life the way she wants, but this doesn't seem to be what she actually wants, as much as she sometimes tries to tell herself this is how she wants things. So she's a really compelling, really interesting character. And then she starts going through these horrific things. And man, I've been debating whether to mention this or not. Because I don't know if it's a spoiler. So I'll tell you what. I'm going to say something. I'm going to say when I'm about to start, I'll say spoilers, and then When I'm finished, if you want to mute, once I say spoilers, you can mute or whatever. And then when I'm finished, I'll give a thumbs up, and then you can turn the sound back on. So here we go. We're going to get into potential spoilers. All right. So you've had a chance. Well, you won't hear me if you've muted your video, but I was very much reminded of the comic book character Venom. I don't know how familiar anybody necessarily watching this video is going to be with Venom. Whether or not you've read the comics or seen the movie, there are just aspects of Yaya and the body horror and what she's going through that were very reminiscent of the symbiotic relationship between the Venom symbiote and Eddie Brock, or essentially any host for the Venom symbiote. But of course, Eddie Brock is the most famous, I think, host for the symbiote. And I really enjoyed that. I liked that aspect of the story. So it's, I don't want to get too deep into potential spoilers. This gives away a little, if you're going to read the book, this will give away a little bit of what happens. But like I said, I've been debating whether to mention it, but it really made an impression on me. All right, so I think we're going to be done with that. And from now on, I'll try to be spoiler-free. So there you go. All right, so potential spoilers over. This is incredibly well written. Great characters. Keep mentioning Yaya, but there's also the people that are coming after her. We do get most of the story is told from Yaya's POV, but we do get a few chapters that are from other people's POV, including some of the people that are after her. And it's about ownership. How much does she owe to ABP? They, legally, they have ownership of half of her DNA, but that doesn't make it right. And with her going through these changes, she knows that ABP is the place to get answers, but it's also the place that can legally lock her up so she never sees the light of day again. This was really, really fantastic. I absolutely loved the writing. I think this is the first thing I've read by Hailey Piper. I know I have at least one other book by her. Can't remember if I've read any short fiction of hers. But I loved the look of the book. So I grabbed it. Like I said, the paperback's coming out soon, or maybe out by the time this hits YouTube. I highly recommend it. I gave it 5 out of 5 on Goodreads. You can just take it, if you want, take it as a body horror novel with a creature feature element to it. But you don't have to dig very deep to get into the issues of identity and the love story. I mean, it's like I said at the beginning, it's body horror, creature feature, love story. But then you've got those other underlying themes. Maybe they're not so underlying. I can be pretty dense sometimes, and if I picked it up, then it's probably pretty obvious. But those are the themes, and it's interesting, especially in this day and age. I mean, this is a book for today. It's because it deals with issues that are very much prevalent. Not that they haven't been in the past, but they just seem with social media and with everything else, a lot of things seem to be more in the public eye. And I think this deals with both straightforward and analogously, if that's the proper way to say it, certain issues that seem to be prevalent in the modern age. Am I being clear? Sometimes I'm not sure that what I'm saying is coming across. But anyway, fantastic. 5 out of 5. I shouldn't be showing this off because you'll have to find it on the secondary market, this particular edition. But it's so nice. I just love that. Those bright colors. And, I mean, is this giving anything away? Tentacles. It's not Cthulhu, but there are tentacles involved. Although I think that does say it in the description. Mentions that there are tentacles. Highly, highly recommended. I can't wait to read more Hailey Piper. I will, because I try not to clump authors' works together. I like to spread them out. She's got a book in the Rewind or Die series from Unnerving Press that I already have. It's like the third one. So I'll be jumping into that eventually. And she's got other works out there, so I'm definitely going to be picking up more of her stuff. I love it. Grab the paperback. I'll have links below. If it's not out, I mean, I really think it's going to be out by the time this video shows up on YouTube. But if it's not, if I'm a couple days early, you can always pre-order. But yeah, there's a wild ride, and it'll make you think. It'll tug at your heartstrings, and it'll terrify you. And it's messy. The characters are messy. The things they do are messy. There's a lot of moral quandaries going on. Sometimes you don't know who to root for. Just really fantastic. A fantastic story. So there you go. I'm not going to... I feel like I'm getting into that rambling territory, which means it's time for me to stop talking about this. So, Queen of Teeth, Hailey Piper, 5 out of 5. So, let's see. Do I have a question for this video? Yeah, let's just jump right. Do you enjoy body horror? I think probably the best known body horror is the works of David Cronenberg with, Videodrome and even The Fly, his remake of The Fly, and Rabid and The Brood and all the others. But there are also books out there that deal with body horror. I do think it's more prevalent, more easily identified in movies. But either way, is body horror something that you enjoy? And if so, again, what are your favorites, whether it be movies or books? Off the top of my head, I know I have other body horror books, but I just off the top of my head can't think of any. But, so there's your question. Your thoughts on body horror. All right, so if you have any comments, questions, or corrections, please put them in the comments below. Comments are open for spoilers. Just post a spoiler warning. We try to be polite here at the Low Budget Review Show. Please like, share, and subscribe. You know the drill. If you care to follow me on other social media, my Twitter is @Ronin5757. My Instagram, where I post pictures of books, comics, board games, and fuzzy animals, is EricSmith5757. That's Eric with K, ERIKSMITH 5757. That's all I've got for you. This has been the Low Budget Review Show. I have been Eric Smith, and until next time, read more books.